Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Welcome. Time for your scheduled hand-drilled lobotomy. Hello. Hi, chat. Hi. You aren't Sena. What are you gonna do with that drill? Lobotomy. Will my health insurance cover this? No. Not only will you feel nothing anymore, you'll also be drowning in death. And you can't even be upset about it. You're just numb now. You're welcome. She could be anyone. Spitting in your onion rings. Yes. I live amongst you. Among us. I thought those were done with ice picks instead. It's been brought into the new world. A modern era lobotomy is just a hand drill. It's a compact drill. Okay? Wireless cordless drill. Milwaukee. Sponsored by Milwaukee. It's not. Please don't sue me. I am late. Hi. Hello, late. Welcome to the stream. Wait this. Psst, psst. Okay, I have to make my own sound effects. Okay, I don't have like a soundboard. Not fancy. We're not there yet. It's all okay. It's all gonna be okay. Why are you naked, young lady? First of all, who said I was young? You guys gotta make up your minds. Am I young or am I a hag? Alright. I'll get dressed. Hello. Whoa! Alright, let's get in the corner. Put baby in the corner. I'm going to post some DIY pumping gore from the person who owned my home before me in your Discord, and you can't stop me! You can't stop me! Shut up! Alright. Today, we're gonna be discussing aliens. Are you ready, chat? Are you ready? This is gonna be a very professional style presentation. Okay? Super professional. I love government psyops. Well, I feel like psyops are meant to like make you like the government, and I don't feel like I'm doing that. Are you saying just like aliens are a government psyop? Humanity first! God gave me dominion! I'm first! 27J Way, welcome to the Bills Affairs. Or welcome back, I should say. My distrust of the government makes me believe that aliens aren't real. Fair. You know, we'll get into it. Don't worry. Aliens are cute, though. Stop thinking with your little head, Tark. Alright. Bagabin music is just a little bit loud? Okay. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Earth first, we'll strip mine the other planets later. Perfecto. Rooney. Alright. Aliens. I gotta move this mic so I can see. Aliens are real. And no one cares. No one cares. This presentation is done by none other than Sena. Bing bong. I don't know who that is. Do you? You guys know who that is? It's me. Ooh. 2 slides. Okay, here, ready? Topics covered. Okay, this is my agenda. Did you marry into a British family? No. What? Why would I do that? Why is presentation done by a British person? What do you mean? Are you pranking me? Am I being pranked? Am I punked? At mtv.com? Okay, so topic number 1, origins. Topic number 2, records. Bing bong. The spelling? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they are the real Brits. They know too much about the Brits to compare. I don't know a lot about them. They drink tea. They have a furry that makes really fun music. What else they got? Oh, crime. They have a lot of crime. A lot of knifings. That's Britain, right? Beans on toast? Yeah. British beans on toast. Yeah. Tuesday, innit? Yeah. Topic number 3, government, quote unquote, government admissions. And we'll get into that. And topic number 4, no one cares? We talk about aliens. Yeah. Yeah. Origins. Obviously, this is one of my favorite, aliens. Okay. From science. Yeah. Love science. Probably, like, one of my favorite, like, alien movies. I don't know what your guys' are, but mine's definitely science. The tinfoil hat scene, they're hiding everywhere, then they find out that tap water kills them, which, like, what did they mean by that? Michigan, I'm looking at you. So, but anyways, its origins technically are Epicurean philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome were among the very first to hypothesize sentient life among the stars. Now, this is obviously not taking into account all the many religions before, eons before even, of people looking at the stars and assigning gods to things of that nature. This is, you know, not, you know, gods versus full-on detached from humanity sentience, okay? So that's what we're dealing with. So aliens as an actual sentient life form that has nothing to do with us personally was first hypothesized by the Epicurean philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome. Technically. Do I love the movie Aliens? One need only look at my full name. Colonel Starfire, 2nd Colonel, Marine Corps. Marine? Ban him! Ban him! Ban him now! If they land in Ohio, it could happen. Real. Swing away, Sena. Isn't it holy water since they're demons? Ooh, see? Remember? We're on the same wavelength here. You and I, buddy. You and I. It's like, honestly, it's like the SpongeBob and Squidward. Where it's just like, where they're connected. I saw a Spud. Yeah. You get it. Is my boy King Jadora gonna be in this? Who? Pippa will be pleased. Yeah. Hareen is a Pippa. It's taking every bone in my body. Taking every bone in my... No shit, Sherlock! Oh, I thought I was the new friend. Oh my goodness. Just hold on and let her explain. So the Colonel Hareen's is a Pippa Aliens cross-rep. Oh boy. Oh boy. Your parents must have really loved dropping you on your head, huh? Okay, records, personal accounts. I'm just explaining for the new peeps. This has to be a joke. Personal record. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know why that got me. I don't even know if you are joking, and I don't mean to hurt your feelings at all, but... Very funny. I mean, if your feelings are hurt, then I know you're really not a Pippa fan, because she does so much worse. Okay. Ah! Personal accounts. Let's discuss some of the most infamous cases, sightings, and abductions. Oh, this guy scared me away. I feel so bad. Oh god. Okay. So, here are some of the fun abduction stories and sightings that I like, personally, okay? Abductions? There we go. So first and foremost, the couple that kind of started it all with their big stories of abductions and incidents of that nature are going to be Barney and Betty Hill's alien abduction story. Okay, they took a spontaneous trip to the White Mountains of New Hampshire in 1961. They were both mentally exhausted, which, like, is not a great road trip environment to be on for something of this nature. And I can tell you from my own personal experience of driving cross-country with my parents, the last time I drove cross-country with my mother, we had to pull off on the side of the road because she thought I was running into people in their lanes. Like, she saw bright lights and thought I was going to just, like, merge into a lane and kill people. Like I didn't look over my shoulder and blinker and all the things. What she saw, chat, was my blinker blinking in the foggy air. There was no cars. At all. Just us. So, you know, exhaustion and road trips, not a good mix. So we're already starting off very lovely. On the last night of their honeymoon, the two found themselves in a Vermont diner. So they go from New Hampshire to Vermont, and if you know anything about New Hampshire and Vermont, they're very small states, and it's easy to just go in between. So they end up in Vermont, ready to make their last dash home to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and they leave at 10 p.m. and planned on arriving home around 2 a.m. On the road, Betty noticed a bright star, perhaps a planet, in the sky. When the object began changing its course in an erratic manner, she wasn't convinced it was a UFO, but her husband was not. "Barney," she said, "if you think that's a satellite or a star, you're being completely ridiculous." As the object drew closer, Barney pulled the car to a stop and, with gun in hand, got out to investigate. As he approached the object, Barney saw what he would later describe as pancake-like disc glowing with brilliant white light that was about the size of a jet. It was clearly swamp gas. Fleeing back to his car, he and Betty tried to evade the vessel, but were instead overcome with an intense drowsiness and immediately fell unconscious. I'm wondering what they slipped in their drinks at the diner, but the couple goes on to say they were pulled into their driveway around dawn, unable to recall what had happened. 2 hours of memory seemed to have been wiped from both of their minds. Ooh. So they go on to hypothesize that they must have been abducted by these aliens, and from this story, it just caused a landslide of accounts of just, we were kidnapped and probed. Also, like, why is anal probing such a big part of, like, alien abduction stories? Like, what is that? Is that just people, like, revealing fetishes? Like, live on candy camera being like, and then they probed me. Wink, wink. Like, what is that? What is that? Shut up, Tark. Yes, in a 1950s sexual suppression. Yeah, but it continues on into, like, the 80s and the 90s. I don't know. Thoughts? Lots of thoughts there. Alright. And then we have there we go. The Zimbabwe children and the end of the world. In September 1994, what is up with September? Everything happens in September. Several UFOs allegedly hovered near a school in Ruwa, Zimbabwe, reports Vanity Fair. The children who observed these UFOs were terrified when they were asked to explain what had happened. They described beings with big heads, no nose, just 2 holes, no mouth, and long black hair. So just the Grudge. The children said they were dressed in dark suits and communicated telepathically. I think it was something about that's going to happen, said one little girl. What I thought was maybe the world's going to end. They were telling us the world's going to end. I don't even know. It just popped in my head. He never said anything. He talked with his eyes. So that's one of the big ones. And an entire class of school children were able to corroborate this story. They had differing enough accounts that made it seem more believable, because as we know, with anecdotal evidence, the more witnesses you have, if it's word for word the same, the less likely it is. But if it's the same gist, but different experiences, like different viewpoints, it becomes a lot stronger of an anecdotal story for whatever reason. I mean, a good example would also be the Bible. That's why they have multiple books of the gospel. It's all different first-hand accounts, right? To help corroborate each other's stories, right? So that's kind of how that works. And that is that whole Zimbabwe situation where all the kids were like able to validate the major points, but have some small differing here and there, which is what makes it just kind of really spooky. Also, like, why Zimbabwe? Why some random village? Why some random group of kids? Like, why? That was a little weird. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. Also, like, we'll get into it later. It's a little weird. It's a little weird that you would come down, do these things, probe, do all kinds of stuff that just seems so out of the blue, so unnerving, but like, just like, what would be the point? Like, think about it this way. And it's really kind of interesting when you try to apply logic to it, right? Suppose the aliens are real and they're not just some sort of demonic entity. Okay, we're supposing in this scenario that aliens genuinely are real. They have the technology and the brain power to come here. And have supposedly been coming here for decades. First of all, why are they still studying us and doing it in such random and barbaric ways when they've clearly advanced beyond us? And then second of all, why would they care? If they're so far advanced, why would they care about us? Like, they're so far advanced, they can go find other places. Like, why would they choose us? Just because of a zoo? For control? Why? What benefit could we possibly give to people, or not people, but extraterrestrials that have everything? Everything that we personally could ever hope and dream of. The technology and the knowledge and potentially even the longevity of life, for all we know. Because you're traveling potentially light years. Also, what's to say that these people or beings can even breathe our air, aren't in full-on suits, and that's why they look so freaking creepy. Anyway. What makes me say it's demonic? My own faith. I just feel like if aliens were genuinely real, we'd already know. We'd already met. I just feel like it's more plausible to me personally. It doesn't have to be to you. That it would just be demons. And that the positive sightings that were not negative impact would be angels being seen. That's my interpretation. Obviously, not everyone's gonna have the same interpretation, but that's my interpretation of it. Okay. Bye. That many people can't keep a secret, right? Okay. So now we're moving on to UFO sightings. Okay. Love these. Love them. So first of all, we have the Tic Tac UFO. Pretty infamous, okay? Sighting in 2004 by Navy pilots during Wednesday hearing before House lawmakers on unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as USOs. A retired Navy pilot testified about his experience, describing a tic-tac-looking object. It was in California, Southern California, November 14th, 2004. Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich and David Fravor were training with the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group about 100 miles southwest of San Diego. Fravor told them at the time, advanced radar on a ship that was a part of their training group, the U.S. Princeton, detected what operators called multiple anomalous aerial vehicles over the horizon, descending 80,000 feet in less than a second. Fravor and Dietrich diverted to investigate. I said, dude, do you see that thing down there? And we saw this little white tic-tac looking object, and it was just kind of moving about the water area. During the training exercise, Fravor and Dietrich each had a weapons system officer in the back seat of their FA-18F. There was 4 of us in the airplanes literally watching this thing for roughly about 5 minutes. Fravor went in for a closer look. He described the tic-tac object mirroring his movements, saying it was aware we were here. Dude, no cap tic-tac on your 6, for real. Literally. The object was about the size of Fravor's FA, with no markings, no wings, and no exhaust plumes. When Fravor tried to cut off the UAP, it accelerated so quickly that it seemed to disappear. He said it was detected roughly 60 miles away less than a minute later. Isn't that spooky? Isn't that spooky? Isn't that spooky? Now, of course, we've had no real release statements besides just his. Me personally, and a lot of people share a similar thought on this one, that it might just be some advanced technology that was not meant to be leaked ahead of time. That's just me personally. I mean, there's so much spent in defense spending. I wouldn't be surprised if we're a lot more advanced than what we know. From stories from past active military vets in my church and even my own father, I always heard stories about having access to a lot of technology that was later released even a decade later. My dad can remember having, cell phones long before they were released within the military, because of course you're going to send your best tech to your military first. That makes sense. So, there's a thought, and to an extent, it wouldn't be beyond the U.S. government to not clue in decorated pilots even on this, because you would want it to be very tightly under wraps. So, who knows? That's how I feel about all of them. That's how I feel about some of them. Some of them I'm just like, some of them can be largely debunked by just how the atmosphere, lighting, yada yada, and then some of them I just feel like can either be a trick of the eye, or a trick of the lens, or just a phenomena. Not necessarily like an actual vessel, just a phenomena in the sky. Or demons. Just likes to play tricks. That's what I'll say. The F-117 was from tech in the late 60s. Russia and China finally have planes just as stealthy today. Yeah, see? I don't know. And it's not to say that, oh, the US must have access to aliens to have such advanced tech. No, they just, keep everything very secretive. They have a lot of secrets. So, that's all plain and simple. They got a lot of secrets. So, I think it's possible that there are aliens are out there somewhere, but I think a lot of the stuff in these stories is likely demons. Yeah, I don't want to completely discount the idea or notion of aliens. I first of all, to me personally, I feel like that'd be limiting the power of God, right? But aside from that, I just think it would be cool. I think it would be cool to not be alone with so much in space. If we are to believe that everything we hear about space is really this vast, really this full of wondrous beauties, why would there not be something, you know? That's just like reasoning and logic, right? But then there's also that thing in the back of my head that goes like, what if space is a lie? So, I don't know. I keep my tinfoil nice and polished. Let's just say. Okay. The next one is going to be Salus. Sorry, Salus. I wrote you down. I love that. Oh, I can't skim it fast enough. Now let's Lubbock. Roswell. Okay, we're gonna skip Salus for a sec. I don't even know if I have Salus. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Like, scrolling through all my notes, I'm like, oh, there it is. Okay. Salus told the... Okay. Salus is about an ex-US Air Force captain on a UFO sighting at a nuclear missile base, and this is essentially what it looked like to him, this picture right here. Okay? I thought the... Skepticism is always good, but you can measure atmospheric gravitational conditions yourself and prove that the Earth is spherical. Except who made those machines to measure these things? Who created the measurements? Listen. It's nice to want an answer for everything scientifically, but if you're the one making up the science, then it's still made up, is it not? These are genuine facts because we've proved them, but we've proved them by our own measurements and our own data and our own thought processes. I don't know. I keep my tinfoil polished. Okay. So, Salus. In March 24th, 1967, there were lights that were sighted flying upon the facility. He was quoted saying, "Sometime in the evening hours, I got a call from the main guard upstairs. He told me that there are strange lights flying upon the facility. He described the lights as reddish-orange, pulsating and glowing. The guard told Salus, it's hovering just above the front gate. He points with his arms and he's saying, it's right there, hovering, motionless, and without sound. We did think that there was a solid object within the lights, sort of oval-shaped. I kind of dismissed it and said, you know, like UFOs? Kind of laughed, and then he said, well, they're not airplanes, sir. The encounter did not end there. Salus said he got another call about 5 minutes later. He calls back and he's screaming, he's very frightened, he's battling, he's gotten all the guards out there with their weapons drawn, and they wanted orders on what to do. I told them make sure nothing enters the fenced area. When I hung up the phone, I thought we were under attack. So, they see these lights, they are like, hello? Hello? They went on to say, by who or what, I had no idea, and we had bells and whistles going off in our control room, and we could see lights going from green to red all across the board. According to Salus, this damaged a significant number of nuclear missiles and weapons, and yet the US government opened no investigation into the incident. Not just that, Salus said that the chiefs within the unit, with information on the same, were made to sign confidentiality contracts regarding the matter. Now, this is 1967. I'm sure bright lights circling is going to look a lot different than what bright lights circling looks like in modern times. Could have been modern aircrafts, or more modern aircrafts, you know, modernized from the 60s, being seen and tested, seeing if they can fly, flying them over military, testing space because that's the only place you can do it, and then if anyone sees it, you just make them sign it off. It's totally plausible. Or it could be something completely sus. Yeah. Yeah. Or it could be something completely just otherworldly and scary. And then next is the Lubbock's lights. Now this is fun. The Lubbock's lights were in 1951 on the evening of August 25th. Uh-oh, we're in August. 3 science professors from Texas Tech were enjoying an evening outdoors in Lubbock when they looked up and saw a semicircle of lights flying above them at a high speed. Over the next day, dozens of reports flooded in from across town. And then Carl Hart Jr., this picture here, even snapped photos of the so-called Lubbock Light phenomenon. Okay. Project Blue Book, which led the Air Force inquiries into UFOs, investigated the events, and official conclusion was that the lights were birds reflecting the luminescence from Lubbock's new street lamps. Many people who saw the lights, however, refused to accept this explanation, arguing that the lights were flying too fast. The drones are real. Yeah, I mean, they probably weren't lying. They probably were birds. Birds, guys. It was probably just birds reflecting the new street lamps. You're just not used to it. First of all, birds sleep. They're not nocturnal, unless they're owls. And owls don't fly in groups. Also, like, that's a grouping. And it's an irregular grouping. Like what, they want us to believe it was some Canadian geese? In Texas? In August? I think not. I think not. Project Blue Book. Yes, the Kelly Blue Book decided. Blame Canada. No, they should never have that much power, ever. They're Canada. Yeah, that one's a little weird, right? But like I said, the bigger ones, where they're flying in formations and there's a flight pattern, does feel to me at least like testing of tech. It's the abduction ones that are a little more unnerving, where it's just like, y'all dealt with an entity. Prayed away, my lord. No. That brings me to the Loveland 57. Okay. So, an incident in 1957 where dozens of citizens in Loveland, Texas, individually reported seeing a rocket or strange light that interfered with their vehicles. Their engines died and their lights cut out. Though the police initially thought the reports were a hoax, they too saw the mysterious lights as they investigated the situation. Project Blue Book was assigned to investigate the case. Their findings? It was an electrical storm and ball lightning that caused the lights and the mechanical malfunctions, despite the fact there were no reported thunderstorms in the area that night. Also, sorry, I thought this was one of the ones where they thought they were gonna get kidnapped out of their cars. There's a couple of those. But I guess none of them are, like, particularly infamous. It's lizard people. Not even, I feel like it's once again just tech. Like, you're just checking, you're testing CMPs, right? EMPs? CMPs. EMPs. EMPs. Yeah, that sounds right. Anyways, they're testing that. Like, I mean, it's 1957. EMP. Okay, cool. So they're testing that, right? I have to imagine it's that. Some electromagnetic field testing. Yes. They're just like, alright, how much damage can this do? Alright, well, let's just try some small town. Nobody's gonna care what a couple hicks have to say. I mean, I feel like that's just, like, honestly, a lot of this stuff. But it does feel calculated when they start choosing the same states over and over, like freaking New Mexico constantly having UFO issues, and Texas and, like, SoCal and Nevada, just, like, constant. Like, that whole little belt. It's just, like, a little C shape. It's like, okay, this is where all the crazies are, but we're all just testing military weapons on these people. And then all the biohazard stuff's in the Midwest, where it's like, oh, this is a flyover state. Nobody's gonna care. You know, I feel like that's literally the whole thought process here. It's just one big Hunger Games. They're just choosing district by district. This is the 39th parallel. Sure, like the weird jelly story. Like a test that got applied to a small town. Yes! Yes, exactly. You guys are good. Yeah, cool. Love it. I know you guys are smart. But every once in a while, I feel like I'm like the only one who sees it, and it's so nice to be validated. Cool. Alright. Terran, 1976. September 19th. Why September? 1976 incident in Tehran, Iran started, much like many others, with phone calls from concerned citizens reporting a bright light in the sky. An F-4 fighter jet was sent out to investigate, but as it neared the object, its instruments blacked out, forcing the pilot to return to base. Then a second F-4 took its place as it neared the unusual light that achieved radar lock. Okay, it was like, alright, I'm not gonna do what Bozo number 1 did, I'm locking on this bitch. Locked on, but according to the pilot, the UFO released a glowing object, which the pilot assumed to be some sort of missile headed straight for him. As he prepared to fight back, the pilot experienced malfunctions with his instruments, and he witnessed another bright object released from the UFO that headed straight down toward the ground. He safely returned to base despite the faulty equipment. Wow, it's totally like Leveland! Crazy! Now they're trying it on higher scales in the Middle East. Shocker! Super surprising. Also, why have we been in the Middle East so long? What the heck? September 19th is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. Okay, well, I guess talk like a pirate, almost lose yourself in an F-4 jet. Because the government doesn't want to tell you they're testing weaponry. Because what if you leak it somewhere? Ooh. Of course you're testing weaponry. Of course you're constantly trying to advance. You have the largest defense spending budget. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Come on. I'm just so sneaky, says the US. Same states, exactly. China Lake is a third of the land of California and is the Navy's serial and space missile testing facility, which you would be able to see from Nevada and Arizona. Then you have Area 51. Actually applied there for a job. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, so Area 51 is just outside of Las Vegas. I might be getting it mixed. It's either on the way to California or to Arizona. I want to say Arizona. Where they did a lot of, atomic bomb testing, which... as we know, I am not a atom bomb or nuclear bomb believer. Really, just feel like if you're doing testing out in the desert and the radius is controlled, how do you... No, fuck you. I'm not that stupid. Fuck you. It can kill everything. Nuclear fallout. Okay, but you're doing testing like miles away from a city. A major city. No, fuck you. No. Also, people lived in Hiroshima all through bombings, and even after the bombings, directly after some of them. I don't know. Just a thought. I'm not saying they didn't get bombed, they definitely did. I'm just saying it was probably like tons of firebombing. Mini nukes. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Miss me. Nevada was A bomb testing. Yes, atom bombs. The big mushroom clouds. Yes. Totally real. Totally real. Yes. I believe in deterrence. I believe in lies. I believe in trying to fluff up some of the actual evils in the world in order to fearmonger acceptance and control. Teehee. Teehee. If everyone has access to nukes, nobody's used them at all. Except just for World War II, where it was fully justified. No, fuck you. Fuck you. No. Some of these countries that literally would have benefited so much more from just, like, dropping a nuke to prove shit. No. There's no way. There's too much calamity behind it. No. Nukes aren't real. God was smiting them for their crimes against you. Sorry. Thank you for the donut. I'm a tuber. No comment. Alright. Roswell. I believe in the power of the nuke so we can nuke the aliens. Yay! Shut up. Roswell. Okay, this is about the disc. The discs, and this is New Mexico, okay? And obviously, he sees a bright, shining disc in the sky. This is like an infamous one of the earliest recordings. Bright, shining disc in the sky, and they're just like, it was a weather balloon. Okay, fuck you. Oh yes, yeah, we're so dumb. New Mexico isn't real. No, silly. Silly, that's Illinois. I've driven through New Mexico. I've stayed in Albuquerque a couple times. Beautiful. I got bison. I got bison! Come on! It's the mother of all UFO sightings. No object was actually observed flying in the Roswell incident. In the summer of 1947, rancher William Mack Brazel discovered mysterious debris in one of his New Mexico pastures, including metallic rods. See, but it's like, oh, I found metallic rods, it was a weather balloon, but people reported seeing sightings in the sky earlier. It's just more like he found stuff. They didn't connect the two until later. As it turns out, the government was indeed covering something up, but it wasn't aliens. The crashed weather balloon was in fact part of a top military secret endeavor called Project Mogul, which launched high-altitude balloons carrying equipment used to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Man! Wow! Spy balloons! Can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up! Last but not least, we have the Belgium wave. The end of November and September, I'm telling you. 1989, citizens of Belgium reported seeing a large triangular UFO hovering in the sky, but beyond the visual sightings, no evidence was found of any UFO's existence. Now, let's remember that a lot of these fighter jets from the US are big black triangles. Just keep that in mind. A few months later, in March 1990, new sightings of multiple objects were reported, confirmed by 2 military ground radar stations. 2 F-16 fighter jets were sent out to investigate the anomalies, and though the pilots could not see anything visually, they were able to lock onto their targets with radar, but the UFOs moved so fast that the pilots ended up losing them. 13,500 people are estimated to have witnessed the incident, making it one of the most widely experienced UFO sightings of modern era. This is the Belgian Air Force had no logical explanation for the activity, but it's acknowledged that an unknown activity had taken place in the air. Belgians reached out to the UK's Ministry of Defence to investigate further, but once they determined that the incident was not a hostile or aggressive one, they stopped the investigation. Oh, it's not hostile, it's just the US? Okay. No biggie. I'll turn around. I'll scratch your back if you'll scratch mine, Mr. US. Lasting damage from atomic weaponry depends on far from the ground and it's detonated. Whatever you want to believe, buddy. Just mystery aircraft, no reason to look any further. Yeah, totally no reason. This brings us to the next part of the aliens. Crop circles. This one, oh boy. So, apparently, the origination of crop circles comes from Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley, who were known to be doing the first ever reported, officially reported crop circles. Okay, crop circles were originally and mainly still found in South England, and eventually these two yahoos came forward and said, we take these planks of wood, tied strings down on our shoes to it, and then we just kind of like walk around on the crops in a pattern, and then make a pattern, and then you can see it from the sky. Which, like, boo! Now, England is the breeding ground where the art of crop circles first began. However, even though they're saying it's a hoax and it really originally started from David Bauer and Dave Chorley, Doug Bauer, sorry. The first ever reported crop circle was in 1678 in South England. Now, the idea of a crop circle, at least for these two artistes, was that you could see it from the sky. The first flight didn't happen until 1903. The obvious is that Doug and Dave are time travelers, potentially. But the first flight did not happen until 1903. So, how can we date something that really truly only originated because of Doug and Dave, in like the 70s and 60s? But like 1678, there's been reports since 1678, and the first ever reported one was in 1678. It was not for the sake of being seen far above, because, hello, there was no planes. If that's true, there's stuff. It is true, you can look it up. Go ahead and look it up. When was the first ever reported crop circle? 1678. There were trees, Sena! First of all, if you know anything about farming, okay, trees are planted, like, all along the perimeter, usually to try and keep out stuff, but, like, I don't know, you don't climb up a tree just because you're walking through a flattened part of your land. What about tall hills? Okay, you're grasping for straws, guys, come on! You're grasping for straws. There's no planes! Who does it benefit to make art? It's totally art. Who? Who does that benefit? Nobody! You can't see it! You can barely see it, you can't appreciate the artistry. It's not art! Maybe it became art at some point. But where they'd even get the inspiration to literally go onto private property, trespass, and squash people's crops? Where'd they get that? Pray thee tell. Come on. Think with your noggins. This brings me to an actual full-on PhD Dr. Drew, a molecular biologist who wholeheartedly believes in the origination of crop circles being otherworldly. Okay? He said at an early age he saw a UFO, and so he knew from an early age that there had to be something going on. I don't know if he was, meant to see something from an early age, or if he really did, or if that's just what he tells people. But he says that's what really sparked him to have this deeply rooted fascination to the point where he has done years of research. Okay? And he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. Dr. Drew? No. His name is Dr. Horace Drew. Okay? And he's from Jacksonville, Florida. Has a full-on PhD in chemistry, and he is a molecular biologist, and he's been researching crop circles and aliens for 20 years. But specifically crop circles, that is his bread and butter. Okay? He is labeled as a conspiracy theorist, this guy who's super smart, much smarter than two idiots who walk around with fucking sticks on the ground, being completely disregarded and discounted because he believes in something more. Oh no! He believes in something more, not in the dollar. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Yeah. This has led to at least one major breakthrough through the discovery of a more advanced binary code than our computers currently use. For the past 20 years, I've been studying UFOs or crop circles, just as other mainstream scientists study conventional subjects. He's been able to break these down into binary codes, literally, just dive super deep into it. According to him, some crop circles provide general descriptions of the future. Other crop circles show schematic images of future or for astronomical or human events. He said of this, some of the decoded messages read, "Much pain, but still time. Believe, there is good out there. Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. We oppose deception. Conduit closing." Come on! You lay out your fleece and it was wet! Come on! It's signs, man! It's the signs! Reminds me of astrology, tarot, divination stuff. No! No! Sin is on point with how old some crop circles are. The few first accounts were actually called the Devil's Tracks because it was thought the devil was tampering with their fields. See? And they probably were! Okay. Anyway. This brings us to current day. Obviously, if you've been paying attention to anything in the news, the only reason this was brought to my attention was by my older brother who was like, I shouldn't be seeing you. I was like, what? You know I don't watch the news. He was like, aliens are real. And I was like, god damn it. Okay. Let me research this. Okay. The government admits. No, actually, the government didn't admit anything. It's actually just a whistleblower that quote-unquote leaked info. And it's coming from a former UAP task force member, David Grush. And then, Sena, what's the UAP? UAP is a branch of NASA dedicated to unidentified anomalous phenomena, otherwise known as UFOs. So literally, some guy who worked for NASA, who studied UFOs, is whistleblowing on stuff saying, hey, I worked for NASA. I don't have any proofs, because obviously I can't have any proofs. But what I can tell you is first-hand accounts, that anytime we shot down a UFO, or anytime a UFO landed or crashed, what we collected thereafter were biologicals, and the biologicals were non-human. That was kind of just all he said. Obviously there's more accounts. They're trying to do an entire, like, court thing, yada yada, and of course the media, has sensationalized him and his claims and are like, the government is admitting it! Now, NASA is government funded, but he's not the government. So. It's just a big fluff up. Alright, they're fluffing it up. The government has released this information directly? No. The media would like you to believe it in order to what? Which brings us to the final slide. No one cares. Why? Partially, people don't care because this is coming from a whistleblower without any substantial evidence. It makes it seem like he just is a disgruntled, either retired or fired, and didn't look too deeply, employee from NASA going, ooh, they're lying, ooh. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure there's like a show on Netflix right now that is quite literally that. Just like some guy being jilted. It's like a cartoon, being jilted. Being like, it's all real, man! Trying to, like, leak information and people being like, alright, you crazy old man. So, like, that's just basically what this is, right? And then, it's also because those who believe in aliens, or at least extraterrestrials, don't need the government to vindicate or validate them at all. I mean, if you already believe, what the hell does it matter if the government goes, hey, they're real, by the way? Yeah, no shit, I already believed in it. Right? Right? Kind of like that. Then there's genuinely more important things going on in the media right now that they're purposefully not covering. Multiple things. BlackRock is currently selling tons and tons and tons and tons of stock. And there's whistleblowers coming out of there right now that the media is just completely not looking at all. Obviously, for very obvious reasons. There's a lot going on in politics right now. A lot of going on even with people within the White House running things right now. You know, there's big scary words like impeachment being thrown around that is just completely suppressed because, like, you know, they gotta pick sides and that's the side they're picking. Hey, you will not talk about that, Bear. Yeah. So, I love cocaine in the Oval Office. So it's like, there's just a lot going on, so they want to, you know, it's easier to create a media circus out of something that is potentially not even real in order to try and distract. I mean, it's very, very common. We see it constantly at this point, and people are tired of it. A lot of people are starting to take those blinders off, and, you know, be it what it may, if they still don't believe the way I believe in things, they're at least taking the blinders off here and there, enough to go, hey, I don't really give a shit if aliens are real. Look at what's going on right now. Dumb fucks. So, that's kind of why this hasn't been made a big deal. As much as it's fun to be like, ooh, UFOs and aliens, it's almost like a worn out fad. And even it's like, oh yeah, it's real, whatever. If they're not hearing it directly from the, you know, the camel's mouth, they don't care. They don't care. But hate yellow politicians, hate all politicians. All of them. Every last, even your favorites, yup. Absolutely. Why should I bow my head to any man that isn't my creator? That's weird. That's weird. That's weird behavior. I don't like it. It's idolatrous to me. I don't like it. Trust not an earthly princess. Literally. Sena, what's your opinion on politics? I don't have one. I don't care for it. I govern myself, and I do just fine. Taxes are theft, and I govern myself. Leave me alone. But I mean, that's the whole thing, right? This is all just one big media circus to distract, and as fun as it is to hypothesize and learn about these things, it is meant purely right now to distract from larger happenings. And the worst part about the distractions are, since the media is fully controlled, it's not like we'd know anything anyway. They could literally just, like, be like, this just in, puppies shoot lasers out of their eyes. And we'd be like, oh, okay. Can we dig deeper on, like, what's going on behind the curtain, though? And they're like, no! There is no curtain, stupid! What are you talking about? Looks away shiftily. It's just, yeah. I wake up, it is a psyop. I wake up, it is a psyop. Literally, yeah. Wake up, 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 sheeple. And the truth of the matter is, no matter how much we wake up, we're fucking stuck! Every single person in this country, in this entire freaking world, could be awake to what's going on, and there's not a damn thing you or I could do about it, because there's still so much information suppression that we wouldn't even know where to begin. We wouldn't even know where to begin. Oh, they're afraid we'll revolt. We don't even know how. Just burn things down? Okay. But then what? What if things are still being perfectly ran even after you burn everything to the ground? So then who do you attack? Because you don't know who the real control is. You're never gonna know. It's too late. It's too late. And that's why I like to be like, this world is not my home, I'm just passing through. Because, like, wow, that is bleak, right? So, I mean, kinda. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why I feel like it's a waste to be like, all politicians, on the right, on the left. Like, who cares? It's the same coin. You're stuck on the same fucking planet, dude. You're stuck. You are stuck, and you look silly. So. No. I think it's even worse than that. It's demonic. Even if they go hand in hand, even if they don't go hand in hand, there's something wrong. Something otherworldly that is just pure evil. And people who are willing to be a part of that. That's all it is. Just the selling of souls. And there's like, you live, you do the best you can, and then you die. Yeah. You need a hug, Sena? I mean, I'd love one, but I'm not, like, upset. I've accepted it, you know? I think I do have that pretty firm foundation because of it, of just like, hey, you believe in this? Yeah, I do, and it helps me in staying grounded when it's like, oh, these things are so, like, mind-numbingly sad, or just, like, just blah. But it's like, it's okay, this is not, like, my promised home, or, you know, I've been told that, you know, this is not meant to be a life of peace. It's not meant to be a life of, like, suffering, but it's like, this is not perfection. So why be, you know, sad when it's not perfect? Of course it's not perfect. It's imperfect. It's in nature. So, I don't know, I try to be logical about it. But, yeah. Unless you said thanks. Hello, Base Bear. Would you be willing to do a first aid stream? Ah, I nearly had a home invasion a few weeks ago, and while I was armed, I realized I couldn't do a thing if something happened to my family. Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's quite a few things you can just kind of know right off your hand. It's good to have a developed, like, a really good first aid kit. I do have a good kit for myself. So, I mean, there's that. Get a trauma pack and know how to use it. Yeah, like, you can get those ones that are fully labeled with the instructions as well. I have, like, 2 of those. I put my first aid kits throughout my home and in my vehicle as well. I just like to have that kind of thing with me at all times. I could link it in the Discord sometime if I remember where I usually purchase. But I have one in my upstairs bathroom, my downstairs bathroom, and one in my kitchen as well, just in case. You never know when you have an uh-oh. I'm a competent cook, but, you know, I am not completely, unaccident prone. And then I keep one in the glove compartment of my vehicle. Because it's just smart. So, I believe everybody should have multiple first aid kits throughout their homes and in any vehicle they own. I mean, like, seriously, even in a tractor. Like, if you're a farmer, you have tractors or, like, a gator or whatever, you should have a kit. If you're going on a 4-wheeler ride, you should have a kit hooked onto the back somewhere. It's just safety first. Oh, you're being... No. No. Always. I love gators. I do too! I want one so bad. I want a gator so... Like, to me, that is, like, one of the most handy little things to have on a property, because, like, they have, like, a truck bed, so you can load it up with, like, lumber if you're cutting firewood, and move it places, but it's also, like, it can go on any terrain. I mean, it can drive in snow. It's fine. Usually without chains. So, like, I don't know. I like gators. They're cool. I really, really would like one. This is true. Sena's a smart bear. Yeah, they're also fun. They are, yeah. Especially the ones that have, like, the little bit more, like, open. Like, just the netting on the side that clicks in. Love it. Super nice. I love gators. Has to be John Deere, though. Well, brand snob. Gotta have the green. Green mean fighting machine! But yeah. That is my presentation on aliens and crop circles, and obviously always have the tinfoil hat just a little bit. Yeah, you know, being a little you boy, but you know, I am who I am. First aid, guns, and body armor in that order. Body armor's good to have. Bug out bags also really good to have. Small one. Bug out bag is really good to have. And guns. Yeah. Yeah. Fire extinguisher. Yes! Every kitchen should have a fire extinguisher. Actually, it should be, like, in most places, technically it's a requirement. You should have a fire extinguisher in your home. You never know when you'll have a grease fire. You can't put it out with water. And you're not gonna just have a cup of dirt to throw on it, so... Land defensible. Multiple bug out bags. Yeah, gotta be... Like, not to full prepper, but just, you know... I'm not saying, you know, build a bunker and store it with goods, but I am saying, like, be prepared for anything. Home invasions... anything. I have had one near home invasion when I lived back home with my family. I think we've had, like, 2 break-ins, but my family has an alarm system, which I also just, even if I end up living in the boonies, I will have, my driveway will have a sensor that will indicate when someone's crossed it, and the lights will all come on, and if you break into my home, there will be a very loud alarm. Because I'm alerting myself and you. So that's always nice to have. It does actually work fairly decently to scare people away. The 2 times that my house has been broken into growing up, by the time we got back, it usually happened when we were at church, which is crazy. We'd get back from church and the police would already be there, like, ma'am, you forgot to, like, give your emergency code to the alarm people, and they're like, well, I was at church. So. And the dogs would be in there like, someone was in here. We didn't really know what to do. And then we'd have to take an inventory of everything. The one time I had a close call was that I could hear someone with something I was up late at night in the living room watching TV. My little brothers were asleep, my older brothers, I think one of them was at a sleepover, and then the other one was at like a lockdown or something with like one of his little groups. So it was just me and the little boys, and then my parents went out to see a movie. It was just me. I was staying up until they got back because like I just have never ever felt comfortable just falling asleep alone with my little brothers and not having any parent there. It just always felt a little scary. I was also the only kid in the house, even out of my older brothers, to know that my parents had a pistol, and I was the only person with the code to their safe box because they trusted me. It's the only trustworthy child. But I heard something and I was like, oh, my parents are home. And then I heard a voice that just was not theirs. And I felt everything rise up in me, my throat. And I was like, do I go and get the gun? Do I have enough time to go get the gun? That's all the way upstairs. Do I have it in me? At the time I was probably like, I don't know, 15, 16. Like, do I have it in me? I don't think I do. Now I think now I would. But then, I don't know. I didn't even think I could shoot straight, you know? I was too nervous. I was sweating. Everywhere was sweating. I was terrified. It was like a big dude. And I just was like, okay, I'm really scared. Like, I don't want to go up against the door. Because what if he has a gun and shoots through the door at me? Then I'm done, and my brothers are done too. So instead, the light switch was just to the side. So I just flashed the light switch multiple times. And I heard, oh shit! And then like, running, and then a car peeling out. And I remember telling my parents, and they filled out a report, and it was a whole thing, but they're like, did you get a look? And I'm like, no. I hid. Like, what was I supposed to do? I hid in the corner. Did you get a look at the car? What if they shot at the windows? No. And I'm like, what kills me is like, how did they not know we were home? I know both cars were gone, but there was a TV playing and you could see right into the front window fairly easily, at least lights, not necessarily people, but lights, from the front yard. So it was just like, what the heck? So it was like a whole thing. It was very scary. I obviously had a lot of trouble sleeping after that. A lot of trouble sleeping. I saw so many freaking weird things in that house and dealt with so many, like, scary what-if situations that, like, I think about it and I'm like, thank God I don't live in a city. Because, wow. But it did cement in me, like, I don't care where I'm at. I know the things that are creature comforts that are genuinely worth it to me. And alarm system, and essentially like a wire trip to let you know that there's someone there on the premises that shouldn't be there, very important to me. Very important to me. So, and the sensor would be underneath the driveway, right? And that heavy car would have to activate it, so, you know, no deer is gonna activate it. But yeah, city hate, for sure. For sure. When I'm like, oh, I'll just live in one of the cities in this area, I do have to remind myself that it's not a city. You know what I mean? Like, it's a city by, like, numbers alone, but it's not a city. It might as well just be a town. Like, oh, they meet the 100,000 requirement to be called a city. It's not a city. It's, like, relatively safe. But even then, I'd still just rather live in a small town. You got cameras? On my rental? No. No. This is a rental. I literally... I don't think I can actually put up any sort of cameras. But I will be putting up cameras on a permanent property. Absolutely. The deer wants to. He can do anything. And he could also get shot, because if he's a he's getting shot and turning into meat. Also, hi, my love. I'm glad I live in a small city. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the stream. That's the presentation. That's the saddle. Although I don't. Once again, I never know. I'm never like, It is weird sometimes when people are like, you're so based. I'm like, on what? But also just like, no, I'm just me. I'm just a lady. So, yeah, I'm just a lady. Alright. Let me get you set up for a raid. Please stay for the raid. That would be greatly appreciated. Unless there's nobody streaming. Which way? Fuck off. Oh. Let's see. Oh, dang! There's so many people live. What the heck? Stop being live! Okay. Ooh. Let's see something fun. Something fun. No way, that's more. Not after the last one. That was scary. Yeah! I didn't even recognize it. Okay. Alright. All set. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for coming. As always, very, very much appreciated. I will get to working out a schedule for next week. And until then, I will see you next time. It's been a real and all that jazz. Okay. Bye, 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 bye.